to Better Credit, Better Home, your source for the latest local and national news that can impact you if you are in the market for real estate. Here are your hosts, the Kingwood mortgage guy, Mike Durr, who uses his 25 years as a mortgage professional to help people improve their credit, and Joe Salas, an accomplished home inspector, real estate agent, and trainer of new agents for Byrd Property International. Together, they will help you understand what you need to know to get the most out of your real estate investment. Let's get started.
Together. Well, not so much today. I do think that Joe's going to be here. I think he might have got tied up, but it is me by myself right now, and he may pop in here any minute now. So news packed show today. I mean, there was a dramatic thing that happened today when the government reports the CPI report. It's a consumer price index, and I don't know if you remember, but back in November, I think on the 7th, the first sign that inflation was being reduced came out. And today it was confirmed that the inflation that has been wreaking havoc with our economy is going in the path that we needed to go in. When that happened, the bond market reacted dramatically, and rates dropped in the early going of the bond market trading period by over 100 basis points and settled in at about 5/8 of a point. And that means that rates went down substantially, anywhere from 3/8 to a half a point in just one day. Now, towards the end of the day, they lost some of that information, or lost some of that momentum, because the Fed is speaking tomorrow, and they're a little concerned with what the Fed says. But in general, it's another sign that the rates will be getting better over the course of the next 2-3 months, maybe 4 months, maybe 6 months. But there are a lot of people that do believe that rates are going to get better as we go along here, hopefully sooner than later. So anyway, I was hoping that Joe would pop in, but if he isn't, we're going to just start off with, the reason I wanted him to be here is because the part of the humor thing I thought was be right up his alley. But we'll start with I'll keep looking for Joe as we go. So here we go. And usually what I like to do is I see it's got to start over. Let me go back through this. There we go. Now I can start. Oh, I can't do that. Bear with me here. Technical difficulty. Go through the slide backwards. What the heck? All right, that's what I was looking for. All right, so this is what we're going to cover. We always like to do this part of it because you may not want to know anything about this, but if there's something here that interests you, I want you to be and stay for the whole time. So for humor, we're going to talk about, for dog lovers only, the truth about marry the home, date the rate, 2023 mortgage interest rate projection, 2023 home sales projection, 2023 home price projections. And then interested in tuning up your credit, we got the answer for that. And rates are down nicely from last week. So I think that is the gist of what we're going to do. And so I'll just get right to it. And I'm waiting for Joe, but I guess he is going to come in when he comes in. So this one is a little spoof on a dog name. I'll sell your home quickly and for top dollar that I shit you not. Shih Tzu not. I guess if you're a dog lover, you'll appreciate that. If you think I'm doing foul language, then I apologize for that. But that, I guess, is a picture of a very cute little Shih Tzu. So we'll move on past that. All right, the truth about marry the home, date the rate. Now, I've said this myself about marry the home, date the rate. The whole premise of that saying is that if you find a house that's the right house, then you want to grab it. And as far as the rate that's out there today, or what has been, the rates are getting better. And what you can do is you can refinance later so that you have a much better or less expensive mortgage on that property. But here's the truth about that is it's expensive to refinance. I mean, it costs about $5,000 to refinance, and that's $5,000 worth of equity that can be pulled out of your house. Now, you will save that money over the course of time, and that's the real test of if a refinance is the appropriate thing to do, is that over a course of time, that $5,000 you'll save in interest that over the course of time. But if it could be less, it would make a big difference. It'll make it a lot easier to do it. Well, we have one of our favorite lenders that has come to the rescue on this. And with this lender, they guarantee that they will service the home for 5 years. So the lender that does your loan, that accepts your loan, they will service it for 5 years. And the advantageous part to that is if you find that it's time to refi during that period, they'll give you a $600 appraisal credit towards the, if there's an appraisal required. They'll also take care of the title cost, or a substantial part of the title cost. Now, the biggest cost by far is the cost of getting another title insurance policy on a home that shouldn't have to have a new title policy. If it's a new lender, you will have to have a new title policy. If it's the lender that's guaranteed to service your property, then that's a fantastic deal. They can reduce that cost. And I say that reduction is about half. And then all of a sudden, what the other thing that happens is when you do a refinance, you'll get to skip at least 1 month of making a mortgage payment, and in many cases, 2 months of making a mortgage payment. So that by itself will cover the cost of doing a refinance. And with the situation is that we do anticipate the rates are going to go down, but if you found a house now, that would be, I think, an extremely good opportunity for anybody. So just be aware of that. It's a program that's out there today. I don't know if others are going to follow it. They usually are cutting edge. So just call me and I'll give you all the details about that. But I think it's a great opportunity. All right. So the 2023 mortgage interest rate projection. So the slide to the right, my right, your left, I guess, is the one of the roller coaster. And this is what's going on with mortgage rates. I mean, they've been up, they've been down, they faint to the downside, and then they go back up. And really, it's a hard thing to look at. Now, this slide on my left could be, I guess that's your right. This shows the history of the rates. I think it's from about 1978 or something to that effect. And you can see they were up, they went way down. This is right in here is the probably January of, or maybe that's March, maybe May. So this is not that big a graph, but this is when mortgage rates started going up, and they went up to here. They've gone all the way up to, I think, about 7.5%. And then they came down a little bit, and you can see that they're just starting to descend a little bit. Now, obviously, if you bought in this area, you're pretty solid. But if you're going to move, then what we want to do is we want to continue. And we hopefully that the rates are going to get down. The next slide is going to show you what we anticipate the rates getting to. So let's take a look at that now. So the projections, and let me look at my sheet here. These are different entities, but what I'm saying in my slide is almost all real estate and mortgage analysts project that rates are going to go lower. And that's fantastic news. But not all agree on how much lower they're going to go. Not all agree on how fast they're going to go that way. So I hope that the Mortgage Bankers Association is the one that's correct. And the guy that I follow, who's the guru out there, he even states that he thinks rates are going to be in the 4s by sometime about the second quarter of next year. But if you look at this slide, it shows that the 2023 quarter 1, Freddie Mac believes rates will be in the mid 6s. Fannie Mae believes they're going to be in 7s. The Mortgage Bankers Association says they're going to be at 6.2, and they don't have to get that far down to be right there. NAR thinks it's 6.5, and the average, or if you average all four of these, or I guess, yeah, all four of these particular ones, 6.58. So that's about where we're at today. Okay, second quarter next year, the Freddie Mac has 6.5. Fannie Mae comes off to 7% to 6.9. The Mortgage Bankers Association says 5.6. That's a big drop. That makes that's a reasonable rate. And then NAR says 6.4. The average is 6.36. When you get to 2023 third quarter, again, Freddie Mac says 6.4. The Fannie Mae says 6.7. MBA 5.4%. And then the NAR says 6.3%. So you can see all the way through the fourth quarter, they've got 5.2 as the low, and then the high is with Fannie Mae. Looks like that they're at 6.5%, which is about where we are today. So I'm thinking that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are being very conservative. Maybe the Mortgage Bankers Association are looking at what I think is reality, but it's good news, and it helps kind of get our mind around what is the point where we think it's worth it to consider buying a new house or refinancing even. So 2023 home sales projections. And we're doing this, it's December, it's the middle of December. So what we want to do is we want to see what is going to happen for 2023. We're projecting out. What the experts say is, now this is the sales in units, is that all of these guys, Fannie, Freddie, MBA, and NAR, feel like the home sales projections are going to be 4 to 5% higher than what they are right now. But it's kind of interesting, because what happened if you look at the graph on the right, and I think what I did is I blew that one up and I wanted to explain it. So this is a list of home sales, and it goes back to 1999. So in 1999, it went way up. I think this is 2007 and 8, came way down. And then this last year, this is 2021. This is 2022. So what happened is we were tracking along with 2021, and of course came to a screeching halt around September, maybe October, when unit sales went down because interest rates went up. And so we're pretty much losing this last quarter, but I think that the 2 years would have been the same. Now keep in mind that 2021 and early 2022 was a frenzy of buying, and it wasn't a good place for the consumer. It was, you were paying more than asking price in almost every case, and the appreciation was incredible, and you'll see that on the next chart. What they're projecting, this was 5.8 million homes that were sold or expect to be sold in 2022. This was 6.8 in 2021, so a million less. This projection for 2023 is 5.1 million, and that's not a bad number, but it's going to be balanced a little more steady. I got an itchy nose, I'm sorry. It's going to be more balanced than what this crazy year was, that was 2022 and even 2021. So I think that that's helpful to keep that in perspective. Part of it has to do with inventory, part of it has to do with interest rates, but it should be an interesting year. So now the 2023 home projections, and this is in price. And this is something that if you've got a house, it's kind of something that you want to know about. Again, we've got our experts here. We've got, I can't even read that anymore. Anyway, there's 4 entities there. It's probably Fannie Mae, it's probably HAR, it's probably Mortgage Bankers Association, are all estimating what the growth is going to be. And you can see that it goes all the way out to a big negative or a positive. So there's a lot of ideas about what it's going to be. I think the key thing is, if you look at this chart on the right, the green chart, this is kind of the appreciation. And starting here, this is probably the 2020 area, 2020, 21, where it went up, and it was, the appreciation was just ridiculous. Everywhere that there was a reasonable place to have a home was appreciating in price. And so it's come down a little bit, but what it's coming down, even at the worst case over here, it's showing 5% down, and that's from the previous year. So we may lose some of the 2 times 20 appreciation that we gained in 2020 and 21, or even in 2022. But it's going to come down to a level we're still going to be well ahead, and there's nothing like any kind of loss that anybody's fearful of. Now, for buyers, it could be it's a time, an opportunity to go out and get a little bit while the market is down. It's like the best time to buy is when the market is low. And right now, it's kind of a period where it's transitioning. And I always like to ask this question: what's the reason that the housing market slowed down? If Joe was here, he'd say, Mike, I think it was because rates went up. And that is exactly right. And what we're looking at right now is we just talked about how rates are starting to come back down, and that could be the kindling for fueling another fire that we have that could create the frenzy that we had that nobody liked. Well, maybe the sellers liked it, but it was a very difficult market to get through, and most of the realtors didn't like it. It just was I think too crazy. A balanced market is really what we want. I don't know if we're going to get it. It could be that interest rates come down to a level where it balances out the desire for homes and the number of people that need that house. But it is, what we hope for is we hope for a balance. Anyway, this is one of those times, I've said it a bunch of times, I think it's an opportunity for somebody to get in a home now, whereas I think well, we're going to go through that, so I won't even talk about that. So if you're considering selling, I wanted to just ask you these questions. Have you accumulated 7 to 10 years worth of stuff or / junk? And I described that last week as it's stuff if you're a female, it's junk if you're a guy. Are you wondering if you need to paint? Well, you do. It's a good idea to paint if you've been in that house for 5 years. Are you considering making repairs but aren't sure which ones to do? This is something that a qualified realtor, which is Joe, he's one of them. There's a lot of good ones out there, but Joe's one of the better ones. Aren't sure which ones to do. He's a licensed inspector. So, talk to him, call that number. Also, this little website, this URL up here, if you enter your information on that one, he will call you and get you started on doing a free comparative market analysis so that you can see what you could sell for right now. Is staging something you should consider? Absolutely. And is a pre-inspection worth the money? I personally think so. I think that Joe would agree with me that a pre-inspection really is a investment that saves you money. So I think that that's something to look at. So what does a rate reduction mean to home buyers? Now, this is information that I did last week. I did it again only because interest rates got even better. And so this is like a week or so ago, rates were at 7.25. Today they're at 5.75 or 5 point something. And these are my rates. I don't know what other lenders are doing, but our rates are well into the 5s today. So that should open your eyes a little bit. This down payment could be 3 to 3.5% or $10,000. This is on a $300,000 house, by the way. Principal and interest, 1974. Taxes, the insurance, the mortgage insurance are all the same. I think the payment on this one is $2,995.90. Whereas today, the same payment with the same down payment is $2,771. That's $220 a month less just because of the timing. And this would be if you had done this at 7.25 and the rates were at 5.75, I'd tell you that it's a good idea to refinance because you'll save that money right away. And again, here's this URL down here at the bottom. If you wanted to find out and get a pre-qualification and see where you're at as far as getting pre-qualified to buy a house, how much house can you buy, what's the money that it will cost, what your payment will be, all that kind of stuff, I'm glad to offer that for free, no cost whatsoever. Okay, real estate stats. These are the stats we did last week. I cut a couple of them out. This will be short and sweet. Homebuyer search between 8 and 10 weeks before going under contract. That's just a standard. It can happen faster than that, but you do want to look around. Last year, 28% purchased more for more than asking price. So they paid more than the asking price because of the timing. Hopefully that's reduced. April several months away, 3 or 4 months away, is the most competitive month for shopping. Homes sell for more during April. So just be aware of that. You buy before that, it may not be as expensive. In 2021, 28% of home buyers used a gift or a loan from family member for down payment. I think that's important. Not everybody knew you could even do that. 54% of renters don't believe they will ever be able to afford to buy a home. That's sad. There are ways to do that. The median household income for a first-time home buyer was $86,500. This is from 2021. So if you have combined income, median household income of around that range, you can probably buy a house. All right, so need a credit score tune-up? Well, we always like to offer this. Again, I've got a URL up there. It's a little different than the other ones. If you have any questions, just call me. We look at your credit. We discern what you can do to make it better. There's always something we can do to make it better, help you improve your credit scores. If you're 740 above, don't worry about it. You don't need to be better unless you just want to. But for anybody that's not at 700, and really I could say up to 740, you can improve your credit. It will help your interest rate. This is something that we do for free. Again, this is absolutely free. So you can either call me or you can go to this website and fill out the form that's there. Interested in getting pre-approved? This is, again, the same thing I talked about before, or you can call me. This URL here is a little form. It just kind of says, hey, I'd like to find out what does it take to get pre-approved. We can show you that real quickly. Man, I'm zooming along here. I guess when I don't have Joe, I move a little faster. So today's mortgage rates, these are conventional rates that today we were able to lock at 5.875 on a 30-year fixed rate. This does have a 740 FICO score, assuming that all other things are right. A 15-year today was at 5.25. So again, these are solid into the fives, and even that early part that I was talking about earlier, they are way behind. Now, I will tell you that we have very competitive rates. And I think you'd find, because we are mortgage brokers, our rates are more competitive than most of the lenders out there. So just be aware of that. I can't speak for everybody out there. But anyway, really important that if you have any questions, you contact us. Obviously, you can do that. We'll go to kingwoodmortgageguys.com. You can call us on the phone. You can do just about anything. But we really appreciate you taking a minute to watch. We love that you allow us to come on and we get some action from that. And if we can help with anything, we just want you to reach out to us. So with that, we're going to cut it off. And I think that get this started right here. And there we go. So
thanks for listening to Better Credit, Better Home. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're looking for a great mortgage professional, reach out to Mike at KingwoodMortgageGuys.com. Or if you're looking for a home inspector or awesome realtor, reach out to Joe Salas with Byrd Properties International.
Bye, guys.